traveling international, one of the challenges that we may run into is that we may not be able to speak, read, or understand their language. Fortunately, if you have an Apple iPhone, you have help. I have it under AI tools, and there it is right there. It's Translate. Now in Translate, I got 3 buttons at the bottom. I have the Translate, I have the camera, and I have the conversation. These are 3 different points of access for translating. So under the Translate button, I have the ability to translate either the written word that I type in or the spoken word if I use the microphone to speak it. And furthermore, if I click on where it says Spain, Spanish, I can change my language and say I want to do Arabic. And so now if I type or speak, and I'm going to use the microphone to speak by clicking on the microphone, I want to find the best restaurant for hamburgers. And it's translated that into Arabic. There's the written word, but if I hit the little arrow,
أريد أن أجد أفضل مطعم للهامبرغر.
then it speaks the translation for the other person to hear if I want to see it. Furthermore, I can have the other person speak by just hitting the microphone on Arabic and let them speak. And of course, I'm not speaking in Arabic, so it is really challenging to translate this. So this is a bad test. So because that didn't work well, if I drag to the left, I can delete. And then I remind myself not to try to speak in Arabic when I'm trying to translate because I don't speak Arabic. I should always speak in English. Another useful tool here is I can hit the 3 dots in the upper right, click on languages. Now I could download, it's already available offline, it's already downloaded Arabic. I can have it download French and download German, whatever language I need when I'm traveling in the event that my cell phone is not connected to the internet. So that's very useful as well for when you're traveling. Now let's go back down to the bottom. I have camera, so I can use the camera app on my phone by clicking camera, and I can put this up to any text that's on the screen, and it's going to translate it into German. So, and if I'm looking at text in German, then I can make sure it translates. Instead of, in this case, you'll see it's translating from English to German. I would flip that and make it say German to English, and then I could read the signs or the words that I'm looking at, again, in this case, through the camera. Let's see, tap shutter button to pause. Oh, I actually took an image of it because I hit the shutter button, and I can read it without having to hold the camera up to the words. And then once I'm done reading it, hit the X, and it brings it back, and I can go get some more words, hit the shutter button to pause it, bring it back so I can easily read it. When I'm done, I can either save it as an image, share it with someone else, or hit the X to delete it. The last button is conversation. And in conversation, I can hit the microphone button. Do you know what time the rest of the group is coming? And then I hit the pause button so that it wouldn't record anything else that I was saying. And there's the words in the written. And if I hit the arrow,
Sai a che ora arriva il resto del gruppo?
It translated what I said into Italian, not only in written word, but spoken word. Furthermore, another really interesting feature here is I can hit the view button and go face to face. This is pretty cool. So if the person is in front of me, I hold the phone up for me to read it and for me to tap, what time is dinner tonight? I hit the pause button, and now I just pivot the phone down for them to look at, and they can read it. And furthermore, they can click the microphone button and speak in their language, and it would translate for me. So when they're done speaking, I pivot the phone back and I can look at it and see what they said in their language, translated in written and spoken words in English. And by the way, in the bottom left, you'll see that I have the 3 dots here. I can choose languages again for downloading more. I can play translation. I can use auto translate. So if I'm not sure what language they're speaking, it would do its best to auto translate, and that's generally pretty useful. And then I can also hit clear conversation if I want to get rid of the conversation here, install all over again. What's the X do? The X takes me out of the face-to-face, back to side-by-side. And again, and the three dots are up top. I can hit the three dots and I can clear conversation and start fresh so that I can have make it easier to speak to someone through this conversation function. Apple iPhone Translate, very useful. Have translate features here. Drag to the right and hit delete. Start fresh. I have the camera, which translates the written word for me to read, and then I have conversation tab where I can speak to someone in my language and translate it into theirs and vice versa. I'm Teddy. I'm all about helping you overcome the risks and the fears of using tech, and I hope this is helpful for you.